Hello and welcome. Nikki here again from Nikki and Spice. And I wanted to share with you today the number one secret your doctor will not tell you about having rheumatoid arthritis. So, my journey started a while ago. 2011 came around and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And I was given prescription medications, prednisone to begin with, and methotrexate. Now, from what I've read and from other people's stories that I've heard, I feel like my case of rheumatoid was probably not on the severe side, but it was definitely something that was causing a lot of pain in my life and to the point where I couldn't sleep at night and I couldn't physically do my job anymore. I was a cake decorator at the time, very involved in using my fingers and wrist, and it was just not working out. Once I started the medication though, everything was golden, right? That first prescription you get, oh my gosh, you feel so good. And it's like, thank you, finally something is helping me, because the pain of having rheumatoid and being diagnosed at the very beginning is so insane. It's something that you cannot describe to people, and it really is so life altering. So having that all day, everyday pain and then going into a prescription that just melts it away, basically hiding the symptoms of what you had become used to, was really, really quite magical. But then the medication stops working, right? And I'm sure if you've had rheumatoid for a while, you maybe have gone through this process of up and down in medication where you are given more medication to take or a new prescription to take and get rid of one completely and, up your prednisone or lower your prednisone. And it's just this, like, I feel like it's a gamble, and it is one of those things where I didn't like the idea of adding another prescription or, switching my medication so freely, because it seemed very counterproductive to me. It was very scary to be messing around with things like that I knew were doing different things to my internal organs inside my body. So once the medication started becoming ineffective, it seemed like I kind of had this idea rolling in my mind that I needed to find my own path to freedom, because my doctor was not necessarily super worried about my best interest as much as, perhaps she could have been. And that's not to say that every doctor is the same. This is my personal story, so this is where I'm coming from. I only ever visited one doctor. I never got a second opinion. So, you can take that with a grain of salt. But what I'm going to say about that is it always felt like I was shooting in the dark for answers and never, ever received anything that I actually could use. I remember one time going to her and saying, when I eat corn and beef, I get really achy. I said, is there any way that food could be directly related to rheumatoid arthritis? And she's like, well, if those foods make you hurt, just stop eating them. But no, they're not connected. I was like, okay. So that to me is a bizarre way of thinking about it. So the number one thing that your doctor may not be telling you is that your nutrition is going to be key in this journey. I am now over 90 weeks medication free simply because I chose a path of nutrition. I found a specific program to follow where you eliminate certain foods out of your diet and you go very basic. And it didn't mean that I wasn't eating food. I was eating a lot of food. I was eating a lot of whole foods. And what I found very, very quickly was that my body started to respond in a really, really positive way. When that started to happen, I started to realize which foods I had removed and which foods I knew were already triggers, and put those two together and kind of created my own nutrition plan for myself. Now, what's funny about this, everybody is an individual, meaning your rheumatoid arthritis is going to be very, very different than my rheumatoid arthritis and her rheumatoid arthritis, right? So everybody has to figure out their own way of doing this. But what I do know is very specific food groups can cause a lot of issues. So, for example, dairy can be a big trigger. Grains are another big trigger. Refined sugars, processed foods, those have all been categories that I've had to basically eliminate from my body in order to remain medication free and feel like I'm living a level of, functional joint health that I want to be living. So consider that when you are traveling on this journey. Rheumatoid arthritis can be an extremely scary disease simply because there's not a lot of hope. And I want to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm not saying this replaces any doctor's opinion or visit, but what I am saying is be an investigator in your body and understand that you have the power to be able to try something new and really, really dive into that and own yourself really for just a moment of time, a fraction of time, honestly, when it comes to how this disease can progress. Try something and see if it sticks, see if it works. You are out nothing to try an elimination program with your nutrition. And if that's something you want more information about, comment below and I will, email you and reference some of the information that I actually used because it's very open and very basic. And I would love to be able to do that for you. But I really find that being my own advocate for this disease has been the best choice in my life. It has been over a year and a half since I've taken my medication, and that's a big deal. If you have strong, desire to change your life, anything is possible, but you have to believe a little bit and try a little bit, and you never know what could happen. So again, Nikki from Nikki and Spice, I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you have a fantastic day, a healthy journey ahead of you, and definitely reach out if you want any more information. Bye.